We got a crowd. Fantastic. So I think we should go get this started. It's 12:01. So welcome everybody to Ntiva's webinar live edition for November 2025. I'm going to be your host, Ted Brown, Director of IT Architecture here at Ntiva. And today we're going to be diving into one of the most talked about advancements in the workplace technology, AI-powered chat assistants. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of advertisements about this, got a whole bunch of emails, and seen a lot of people talking about this. However, what makes this webinar different is I want to talk to you about what is free and already baked into your Microsoft licensing you're probably using right now. There's some exciting announcements that took place over the last couple of months that bring more power to Microsoft Copilot Chat. And as an intro spoiler, is built right now into your Microsoft favorite 365 apps, your Word, your Outlook, your Excel, PowerPoint, everything. Now, ChatGPT was one of the first mainstream chat agents that made generative AI readily available, and people were quickly able to see how transformative AI could be for productivity. But here's the catch. Unless you're using a paid enterprise edition, and anything you put into a public chatbot is not truly safe, private, or secure. That's a risk no company should take lightly. Sharing sensitive information into a public chatbot is as risky as sending confidential emails to external contacts. That's why Microsoft Copilot Chat is a game changer. It's not only just another AI chatbot, it's designed for the workplace with enterprise-grade security built right in. Your prompts, Copilot answers stay within your organization's trusted cloud. They're never used to train public AI models, and they're not visible to Microsoft or anybody else outside your organization. You can confidently ask Copilot about product documents, customer emails, even draft confidential reports knowing your data never leaves a secured environment. And the best part, this powerful feature is now available for free to all Microsoft 365 business users and enterprise users. There's nothing extra to install or pay for. As organizations, we need to treat AI chat tools with the same seriousness as emails, protecting sensitive information, ensuring compliance, and empowering our teams to innovate securely. By embracing Microsoft Copilot Chat, you're not just boosting your productivity, you're making sure your company's data is safe, protected, and all at zero extra cost. So let's explore how you and your team can unlock these new features and transform your workday securely and for free. So as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be talking about Microsoft Copilot versus the paid edition of Microsoft Copilot 365. I'm going to get into some of the differences between the two. I have a quick little spoiler about a big announcement that Microsoft made this earlier this week. But for the main part of this, we're going to stick within the free edition. And I'm only going to go into a couple slides and go straight into the demos and show you how this works, how to access Copilot Chat, and how to use it with these new features. So Microsoft Copilot Chat versus 365. Now, one of the biggest differences I want to make apparent right up front is the paid edition, which is the $360 paid annually or the $31.50 paid monthly, gives you the ability to access and analyze your entire organizational data. This means you can analyze your emails, your meetings, SharePoint, Teams, and even if they're not currently open on your screen right there, this enables cross-document, cross-application intelligence, drawing insights from your full work history and enterprise resources as long as you have the ability to access them through your rights. Now, with the free Copilot, this is something that is actually made available here in the September timeframe. It gives you what's called contextual aware. It gives you the ability to work on content you have open at that moment in time. So if you have a Word document, you can actually use Copilot to work off that one Word document. Or if you have Excel open, you can work off that Excel. You can't you can't ask information that is not open on your screen at the time. That requires the paid edition. So that's one of the biggest differences between the $30 one and the free one you have right now. Now, there's another feature that I personally love with the actual paid edition is the advanced search capability, which is not available yet on the free edition. This means I'm sure Hample has been in this situation. You know you sent an email to somebody 3 years ago with an attachment and it started with something. You can pop in just that brief information to Copilot and it will find that email really easily, unlike how it is utilizing Outlook and going through the Outlook search, which you might find every once in a while. So that's a feature I love. And that's not available yet in the Copilot Chat edition. But I just heard earlier this week that that might be available in the March release of Copilot Chat. So they're releasing more features that are actually in the full edition and pushing them to the free edition coming up. So they're kind of actually making some of these advancements available at no extra cost while they're throwing more advanced features into the $30 one. And I actually took a look back when preparing for this webinar because I did a webinar on the 365 Copilot Chat and the paid edition back in, I want to say February 2024 when this was launched. A lot of the features that are available right now with the free edition is what I was hyping out and showing how important it was to try out Copilot and see what advances it would do. You can work on your Word documents, analyze Excel documents, push emails, and easily to PowerPoint, summarize emails. All those things now are actually available to you to try out with the free edition. So very powerful. Now, one of the announcements that just got made at the Microsoft Ignite conference just 2 days ago is they're actually changing pricing for Microsoft 365 Copilot. They're making a business license right now. So this means there's a $21 Microsoft Copilot license that will be available after December 1st. This was announced just 2 days ago. There's a whole bunch of questions I have right before we operationalize this here at Ntiva, but I imagine shortly in December, we'll be able to have this SKU available for you at $21. There could be some interesting cases if you've already purchased it. How do you get to this license? So more to come there. We're still learning about this right now, but I'm sure people will hear about this weekend as this announcement goes through the mainstream. But there will be the ability to actually purchase a lower dollar value Copilot license at $21. However, you have to have less than 300 seats and utilizing a Microsoft Business SKU, Business Premium, Business Basic, Business Standard, not at enterprise level M365 E3, Office 365 E3, E5, etc. So all within the business suite. Now, I love this type of slide. I'm not going to stay on it long. One of the things I want to highlight here is the fact that you can see here Microsoft Copilot Chat on the left-hand side has a lot of the same feature sets that the other ones have. You have the ability to have web-grounded information with utilizing GPT-4o and GPT-5 now available with Copilot Chat and 365. You have the ability to have enterprise level grade protection here all the way across the bat. So it gives you the ability to have that extra functionality at no extra cost to you. The only things that you're missing here is, again, what I talked about, the main differences is the grounded information in your corporate data across all files. But you do have that contextual awareness, which I'm going to show you right now. So let's get into a demo and show you how this works. All right. I'm going to jump over to my test tenant I have here. So if anyone's actually joined me on any of my webinars or lunch and learns, I have a test tenant called Tomorrow's Firm Today, and that's what this is. This user right here does not have a paid edition of Microsoft 365. So this is not the $30 license a month to have all the features. This is just showing you this is the free version available to you right now. So first step is, and I apologize if people know how to access Copilot for 365. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's very easy. So to get to a Copilot chat, you have multiple different ways to do it. You can do it through your Teams. Within Teams right here, on the left-hand side, you have a whole bunch of buttons. Typically, you'll have one here, a Copilot button, which will open up your Copilot chat. If you do not see it, you click on the three dots down here and type in Copilot, and you'll see it, and you can add it right to your sidebar here and access your Copilot as well. I personally like accessing it over the website. So you can click in here and go to either portal.office.com, which will open up the main screen, which is a M365 cloud.microsoft. That's a long thing to write. Portal.office.com gets you right there, simple to go. So you can see here, it's the same screen you have within Teams and the browser right here. If you're using Edge, you also have a sidebar you can click on as well to bring it across and use it right within the sidebar. Very easy to use. Now, if this was a paid edition, you would see a button at the top that said Web and Corporate. That allows you to kind of switch back and forth between Corporate and Web edition. But since this is not grounded in your corporate data, it doesn't even give you the option. This just has web access. So a couple key features here to know, which I'm sure if you're utilizing any other chatbot, you have the capability to add work content, upload images. I use the cut and paste feature all the time. If you have a document that was sent to you in a PDF, for some reason you can't copy any information out, you can do a little screenshot, pop it in here. It will actually present the words where you can copy and paste or take some analysis off it. Very handy to do that. But the piece I want to show you is up here. Up here on the top right, you have the change to change different models. GPT-5 now is the basic level for searching, which gives you deep research mode to go into more information. You can switch it to GPT-5, switch it back off. I like to keep it on to GPT-5. It's very nice. Up here on the right side, your corporate data is protected. And if you're curious about what it can do and what the information behind, click onto this link. It will show you the security features behind it. No difference than what you have if you had the paid edition. Now, one trick that I like to show people because they might not know this, you have the ability to personalize Copilot. So on these dots up here to the right, you can click on it and click on settings. So in here, personalization. You can create a custom prompt to tell Copilot about yourself. And I recommend putting this in there because it will actually make it more contextually aware of you. So in here, recommend putting in here what your role is at your organization, what type of organization you have, so it understands who you are and actually presents the information back to you in that fashion. You also have the capability of telling it to remember things, and that's going to be kept here in Copilot memory. So you can actually type in remember certain things and it will pop it right into this section. So let's go ahead and do a demonstration real quickly of that. So I'm going to say, when writing content, please write it in a certain fashion. So I'm going to tell it, please remember when creating content for me, I want it to sound exciting and professional. I'm going to add it right there. And now it's put me into memory updated. And I'm going to tell it, I am a chief operating officer. So now it has information about me, memory updated. So I can go take a look to see the memory it knows about me. And now as it creates information, it is remembering that and putting it into the context of the prompt. So first things first. So I talked about the security piece. If any organization here has not created an AI usage policy for your organization, I recommend creating that. And so as an example, let's go ahead and utilize Copilot to do just that. So let's go ahead and put in a prompt. Please act as a professional security policy writer. So I'm giving it a context of who who is actually preparing this for. You're a smart security policy writer. Create an AI usage policy for my company. We're 75 employees, technology first, bike manufacturer. This needs to be created to ensure safety of our data and for our cyber insurance policy. So I'm going to click the go button. I'm sure plenty of you playing with ChatGPT, Gemini have done something similar to this. So nothing different. So it's going to put all this in here. And as it's going through, it's creating a potential outline of boilerplate of a AI usage policy. One thing I personally like to do is have AI work with itself. So once this gets done, I'm going to pop in here. I want you to act as a professional auditor. Let's review what the security policy maker put in there and see if there's anything missing. So this way you can actually have it review information, putting a different context in there, telling it who it is, and now review itself and saying, hey, it's lacking certain information in here that should be put in if this was a auditor reviewing this. Shadow IT, shadow AI usage, that's a big thing that was not actually put in there. So with this, would you like to update this version? So let's go ahead and put in all these missing fields. Place all these missing things, and it will now populate everything that was missing with what came up there from the auditor. Now, the great feature that I like right here is what's going to come up next. Once it gets done, you're going to have some options at the bottom. Copy and paste, so you can copy and paste it into a Word document. So if you're using ChatGPT, is probably what you do. You bring it across. Thumbs up, thumb down if you like it or not. There's a place here, we're not going to get too much into it, edit in pages. Now, if no one's used Loop before, I recommend trying Loop. It's an application with Microsoft, does a great job of kind of correlating data, sharing information. You can have it open up different applications. It's very functional. I've done a couple webinars on it. Please go to our webinar section of our website, check it out. It's very functional and handy. However, if you click on the more options, you can open this now in Word. So it's going to take all that information and open it in Word. So now you can manipulate it however you want. So now here's the policy. And now within Word, I have Copilot. So it's opening this up right here. So what I want to do is let's go ahead and please help craft an email from our employees with an FAQ. So it's going to grab the information. So it's contextually aware of what's going on in my Word document right now. And it's putting together a FAQ that I can now copy and paste and put this all into Outlook and send it out to my team. So now you take in Copilot and introducing Word to bring information on it, working off that Word document to now producing more information. Now I can get it into Outlook. So contextually aware of what's actually there. So I'm going to pop over to my Outlook right here. So if I wanted to, I can open up a new email and paste that in and send it. So that would actually get that done. But I want to show you what's now available within Outlook itself. So I'm sure, like the Outlook search, a lot of people have been on the end of a forward message that you've been added to on a chain of emails. You have no clue even where to start. You get thrown this, you're in the middle of a million things, and all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of information here you need to understand. The paid edition, when this first came out, was a game changer for me. I used it all the time. Right at the top, you have a button that says Summarize. And you click on Summarize, and this will now take information about this and summarize what's going on. So it can tell you what each person is doing. Now, we're going to play with this a little bit. So I want to give you some understanding about this email that I created this through AI. But what this is we're creating a product launch for a new e-bike. And we're going through our team trying to figure out how you want to launch it and come up with good ideas to make sure people know about this new e-bike. So that's what this email chain is about. How are we going to get this out to the marketplace? So I can see here, this gives me a concise information about what each person is talking about within this email. So let's go ahead and play with this for a little bit. So let's go ahead and talk about this meeting. Let's go ahead and say, let's go ahead and create a summary because I want to present my findings to our board of directors. So I'm going to click this play button and it's going to go, great. Here's a summary you can present for your board of directors. So I got my product launch summary, key information. Oh, that's a lot of great information here that I can pull through. So just like I showed you before about within the Copilot chat, let's go ahead and open this in Word. So it's going to take all that information I was just working in Outlook on the Copilot chat, open up a Word document, and now I can iterate and work off this information here off of Word. So now that I have it in Word, let's go and let's create an intro to this. Create an intro email for our board to get them interested in our rollout plan. Now, this is where it got to that game-changing piece for me. All the stuff you're kind of able to do before. What I'm going to do here, now it found this information here. Here's the email intro. Would you like me to expand on this in full draft? No, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and add that information right into the document itself. So it didn't come up for it. Let's do that again. As with all demos, sometimes it doesn't work as expected. What should happen here is we should get information here where we can actually hit the plus button to add it right into our document. So I can try this again in another page. All right. I can paste it, put it right in here if you wanted to, and get it going in that direction. So one other piece I want to show you right here is you can actually say, looks great. Let's make a PowerPoint. And what's going to do is going to take some of this information and make it into a PowerPoint summary. And it will allow you to actually export that and put it straight to your Outlook, your PowerPoint, and open it from there. Now, this does take a little bit going through, so we'll let this analyze. And I'm going to come back into my Outlook and open up another Word document. So let's go ahead and open up this Word document. Now, this document right here, again, is about this e-bike that we're putting together. So you have your product specifications. It's a pretty, 4-page document about all this new bike we're trying to sell. So on the right-hand side, we have Copilot again. So let's go ahead and open up Copilot. We have a glossary, it's 4 pages. Let's go ahead and create a FAQ for this document. Please create an FAQ for this document. And it will go through, it will analyze all the information, again, contextually aware of what's going on, and put some information here about what a good frequently asked question should be. So I can come down to the bottom if I wanted to. Let's go ahead and hit enter. And as you can see here, it has a plus sign, add to document. This is what I was talking about that actually for me made it the game changer. I had the capability of working off a Word document, asking Copilot and having it slide back to the document itself. Again, this is available in the $30 version, but now it's available for the free version. So click on the add document, it popped that information down. So I can actually iterate off the document, ask Copilot some questions, and then bring the information back to the document itself. So very powerful in that fashion. Great, looks great. Thank you. Now let's pop back over to the summarized email. Here's that board document I asked about. So let's go ahead and take a look at this presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and select it here. It's going to open in a second. I'm going to verify the link. Continue anyways. And now it took that information out that we had in that in the information we're trying to put out about this to the board and created a PowerPoint presentation. Now we can actually manipulate and go from there. So you can go back and forth between application, taking your contextually aware what's going within that document, bring it to another application within Word. And again, this is all for the free edition. And last thing I want to get into here is not only does it have with Word, PowerPoint, you can also get into Excel as well and go from there. So let's go ahead and back into portal.office.com, come into Excel, and I'm going to open up this e-bike document. Now, I've used this before. This is going through specifications about what this new e-bike we're trying to sell. It has, the price, what the MSRP is on it, how much it's going to cost us, and different information about the actual the frame itself, what type of bike it is, how it looks. So we should have a Copilot button up here as well now. So again, free edition, I have the Copilot button. Let's go ahead and find some information about this. One of the big things that comes up first, analyze this workbook to give me interesting data and insights. That one I always find very interesting. What can it pull out from this? Now, this does take a couple seconds to run when it goes through, but sometimes what will pop up here is goes through analyzing, and it'll give you a little button to kind of click some insights about what it's doing. It's building some Python code in the background to go through and crawl the data, understand what's going on, so you can get some deep understanding through using a GPT-5 to go through and get some reasoning about what's going on and present you the findings. So here goes, overall summary, your price analysis, profit margin, inventory highlights, anomalies, 14 models below product cost. That seems pretty odd for me. And some nice charts. And best of all, we can go ahead and take all that information and open up in Word. So I'm starting to put together a picture about what's going on. We have our product launch we're trying to put together, some specifications about the bike, the actual analyzation of it within Excel, and I can start kind of putting all this information together in a Word document together and save it in there, all working off each other, all using Excel, all using Copilot without really much interaction for myself. Let's go ahead and back to the e-bike. Now, the one thing here is let's go ahead and create a margin analysis. One thing we have here, you don't actually see what our margin is, but you still calculate it if you want to, but we can pop it into Copilot. Again, contextually aware what's going on here. It's going to pull the information and start putting that together for us. Go through analyzing. The other piece I like utilizing for Copilot within Excel is there's so many different functions within Excel, and you might not know how to utilize it. So maybe you want to try the standard deviation of something within here that might make sense to you as a business to understand, but you don't quite know how to utilize the function. Instead of looking up and and searching on Google or how do I use standard deviation, you can pop it right here in a Copilot. It'll tell you how to utilize it, how to understand it, and even ask if it wants you to create another workbook with it in there. So you can see here, put together my profit margin. And then at the bottom of this, do you want to go ahead and download a full analysis? It created a whole nother Excel document for me with that information available right there. So free edition of Copilot was able to go through Outlook, PowerPoint, Word, Excel, able to harness the data of what's contextually aware within the screen itself to kind of put it all together. Again, this was not available to anybody before the August, September timeframe, now all available to you all for free within Microsoft Copilot Chat. And so, in summary, the free Microsoft Copilot has undergone a remarkable transformation since August 2025, evolving into a truly integrated, intelligent, and versatile AI assistant. Today, Copilot is not just a chatbot, it's a productivity partner embedded across Windows, Microsoft 365 applications, Edge, all ready to assist you where you want to work. Now, this comes with a next power generation AI. This Copilot now runs on the most advanced models like GPT-5, delivering a more accurate, contextual aware, and complete response for free. Its deep app integration. You can now work Copilot off of your Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, making it easier to have AI-driven help without having to switch applications. You also have personalized and memory capability, and Copilot can remember your preferences and important details across your sessions, making every interaction more tailored and efficient. And it has a multi-model capabilities, which I didn't show too much. You have the ability to generate images, analyze documents, and visual data. Copilot supports a wide range of creativity and analytical tasks, all with enterprise security baked in. Now, ultimately, Microsoft Copilot has redefined what a free AI assistant can be, empowering users to work smarter, collaborate better, and unlock a new level of productivity. So thank you for your attention today, and I encourage you to explore these new capabilities to see how Copilot Chat can enhance your workflow securely and for free. Now, I went through all the demo. We have a little bit of extra time here, of course, so I'm happy to answer any questions that people might have. We have a Q&A section, a chat session, so please throw it out there. Anything, I'm happy to answer or even demo something along the way. All right, we do have some QAs. How do you know if you have a paid edition or not? Great question. So let me get back over to my system here. So your IT definitely should be able to give you information if you have a paid edition or not, but you don't always see the license in front of you. So it's a very valid question. The one way you can tell is if you're in Copilot Chat, you're not presented with a button up here that shows web or corporate data. Now, if you want, I can bring up my other system here and show you the difference. Off. So here's the paid edition. You'll see it says work, and this one does not say work or web. So when I'm on the paid edition, I have the chance to go back and forth between my work information and web. So I click on work, and we'll make sure when it does the first search, it's going to go grounded off the information I have at my corporate information, my SharePoint, Teams, meetings, everything like that. Or if I want to strictly focus on web, I can click on web and go that direction. So that's how you can easily know if you have the paid edition or not. So great question. Right, next up. Yes, this is being recorded and we'll be able to share information out to everybody. So anyone that's joined this or registered for it, you'll definitely get this webinar and you can actually have this information. What's the risk of plagiarization in Copilot? Great question. I'd recommend putting that into your AI policy and usage. So with Copilot, it is going through the web and pulling information back. So it could produce something in there that someone's already written. So it's best to take a look at the information, rewrite it yourself, understand what's going on there. The other piece that is going on when you do some searches, it should, what is the history of baseball? So typically when you do any type of searches, it should start coming back with where it actually found it. You can see here, it gives some sources of where it found that information. So if you go in there and completely copy and paste everything, you are plagiarizing for that. So I definitely recommend when you're building your AI policy, you put in there that type of use of what's going on, but you're clearly able to see where it pulled information and actually browse it if you would like to. All right. Next up. Do you know file data limit for chat? Is there a difference between paid and free? No, there's no difference on that for paid or free. There's both a paid and free edition have the ability to upload the file size you need to put into there. So there's no difference on that piece. I'm sure there's an upper limit that needs to be on there. I can find that out and get that answer to you. So I can write down your information here, but there's no difference on that. The one big difference between the free edition and the paid edition is Microsoft does say at certain points it could throttle the usage. I've yet to see that happen, but of course they're putting it out there. And the Chat GPT 5 right here, they're saying that this will be prioritized to the people that have the paid edition versus the free edition. Again, had not seen that happen in practice, but they do put that there in the fine print that that's possible. But again, it maybe takes a handful of extra seconds to produce something, but on the back end, it probably slows it down and actually throttles in that direction. So I wouldn't expect much of a difference on the response rate back to you, but it is something to put in their frequently asked questions. Will you get an email once the license is applied to your account? Great question. And I'm assuming that you're probably talking about the free edition. You do not get an email for the free edition because it's already ready for you once you have your license within Microsoft 365. So it doesn't welcome you to it. So anybody that has access to 365 should be able to go here. The first place I recommend once you get into here is take a look at this little safety button right here, this little shield. You can see enterprise data protection on applies to this chat. Microsoft does say that the free edition is available for the Microsoft Business Basic, your Business Standard, your Business Premium, your E3s, your E5s, your Microsoft E3s, your Microsoft E5s. I have tried this out with the Exchange Online Plan 1s, Exchange Online Plan 2s, and it does give you the capability to use the enterprise level search. So it does allow for the add-on SKUs to go on there. Now, if you have a Microsoft 365 apps for business, where it just does the application install on your computer, it will not have capability to do chat. You have to have something that has the ability to log in, like an email or something along those lines that give you this capability. But once you have that, you'll be able to use the Copilot Chat. If you use the paid edition, then yes, you do get an email. Typically, when you actually get a license applied, it'll say "Welcome to Copilot," and it'll allow you to know like what to do, how to access certain things. But so you get an email on that one, but not for the free one. It's already included. Will we get this recording? Yes, you'll get this recording. Will you give an update webinar on the newest version of the paid Copilot? Yes, and one thing's if you guys haven't taken a look at the Ntiva.com. So I do monthly webinars. So within here, if you come to our Knowledge Center, we have our Mastery Series, and I have a system right here for Microsoft 365. Click on here, it'll give you some information about what's upcoming. Every quarter, I do what is new within Microsoft 365. I just did a recent one that came out, I want to say in the August timeframe, about a new agents they put into the paid edition, Researcher, Analyst. It's fantastic. I use Researcher all the time. So I have a webinar in here. You can go back and take a look at some of the old webinars. You can see here, what's next. Recommend searching these things, Copilot Studio. So we have a whole bunch of stuff in here about Copilot to take a look at. Been doing these for a handful of years, so there's a lot of information. Please check it out. And see here, I have a Copilot button in email. Does that mean I have the paid subscription through Outlook? And how do I go about utilizing this through other items such as Excel? Great question. Just because you have a Copilot button does not necessarily let me know if it's a paid edition or free edition. So again, this is the free edition right here. It does have the summarize and the Copilot button. One way I can tell is in here, you don't have the capability of actually switching between work and corporate. It would show up in this button right here that you had a work or web button, which would tell me if you had a paid edition or not. One of the other pieces that you can find out if you wanted to, if you say, what is important in my inbox today? Since this is not grounded in my corporate data, it can't traverse my Outlook. So even though I have Outlook fully up over here, it's not able to go all into this information. So it won't be able to actually know what's going on. It's giving me information of like rules, how to make things more focused to me. So it's not giving me information back on that. If I had a full edition of Microsoft Copilot Paid Edition, it would go, here's the important emails you should look at. Somebody sent you a important email you haven't responded back in 2 days. Should you respond back to? So it'll give me some insights there. Now, there, like I said at the beginning of this, Microsoft's going through a Microsoft Ignite conference in San Francisco. And a update actually came through last night that I saw that in March of 2026, the free version of Copilot is going to give you the capability of going through your emails. Now, I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but again, they're bringing more features into the free edition that is on your paid edition. And so they're going to be iterating on this a lot. So I'd recommend getting used to utilizing Copilot and understanding how it's being used today, because there's going to be more feature-rich information coming down the road as they build into the roadmap. And I do feel that one's going to be even a bigger game changer once you have the capability of using the free Copilot to analyze your emails and your outlooks. And be fantastic. So recommend checking it out. But again, the big way to show if you have a paid edition or not, you can ask a question if it can go across the information. If it can't, you have the free, or up here at the top right, you would see web and work, which this does not have it. How accurate would you say the Excel calculations are? That's another great question. Very accurate. It is using a Python in the background to actually do the calculations and put the information in there. So I have not seen any calculations incorrect. The Python piece goes through and actually sets up the information correctly with an Excel document, puts it in there. You can validate it if you need it to. So I have not seen any miscalculations within Excel utilizing in that direction. All right. Everybody with Microsoft 365 Business Premium has Copilot with ChatGPT 5 and is now integrated with Microsoft Suite, Excel, Word, PowerPoint. Correct. With Microsoft Business Premium, you get the capability of using Copilot Chat that has GPT-5. Again, you have it right here. This actually account right here does have a Microsoft Business Premium. That's all it has. And the capability of switching GPT-5 up here on the top right, fully available to you at no extra charge. It will synchronize, another question, a lot of questions here. Thank you, everybody. It will sync automatically to my email to understand the request, or do I have to update the email? Let's see here. I believe you're talking about within Outlook, if I'm writing information here, uh, please, uh, please reply with an answer of the summary. So I'm going to say, please reply with the answer to the summary. So one thing you can't do within Outlook right now is take this information, and it doesn't have the plus button like I had within Word to put it in there. Now I can copy it and reply and pop it in here and hit paste. And so it does have the capability of doing that. So pretty easy to hit that copy button and pop in here. Now, one thing I didn't talk about, I've talked to a whole bunch of people in other organizations about how they utilize their AI system, how they're using ChatGPT, how they're using Gemini. And one of the things I've heard is this is one of the most common things people do is they'll go ahead and hit a Control A on this, throw all this information into ChatGPT or Gemini and get the summarization back. Again, if you're not paying for the enterprise level subscription on these, that information is not secure, not privatized. So if this information I didn't want to get out in email, I would not want to put it into a chat session. So definitely recommend utilizing this feature within Outlook. And even if you have a paid edition somewhere else, it's so easy to hit the button right here and ensure you're keeping your data safe, secure, and private. Let's see here. Remember, we need to be specific or clear on what we ask Copilot, because it will pull information from the first draft. And maybe if you do a draft, a finished document. So I guess this person's asking about, do I need to put information in there if it's this first draft finished document? Any information you put into there as context is very helpful to give it more information. Now, you probably can do a whole separate section on proper prompting. I do have a handful of people still here. One thing that I find very helpful within this, let's just go back to one of my examples, and this will take a little bit of time to run, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm going to go back to that first example. So if I was really utilizing this example to its fullest impact, I would say, please act as a professional security policy writer. This is what I want to do. Then I would actually have it interview me. Now, this is it allows for you getting very specific about what you want. So please interview me at least 5 questions, one at a time, to make sure you understand. And so what this is doing is sometimes you don't know exactly what to ask. With maybe in your head you quite haven't formulated what you're trying to get out of this. So use this almost as your thought leader here. So within this, it's going to say, "Hey, great. What are you trying to get out of it? What type of AI tools and platforms are currently being used?" Oh, okay, yeah, I'm utilizing Copilot Chat as well as ChatGPT. Maybe some people use Gemini. And it's going to start iterating from there and asking more questions. And the production of what is producing back to you will have more relevance than just the initial one I did again at the beginning. I recommend utilizing this when you have time on any type of the questions you have, because it will produce a more rich information and get you exactly out what you're trying to put into Copilot, and it will have much richer production at the end. So not exactly the question to get into, but kind of was correlated in there because you can do a lot with prompting. And I find if you're kind of fearful of prompting, you can go through this direction. Speaking of prompting, again, I'm in the free edition right here. You do have agents available to you. Now, within agents, once this pops up, these are the free agents that are available to you. There is a prompt coach. So you can click on prompt. There's no extra charge on here. I click add, and then you can ask questions about what you're trying to do, and the prompt coach will help answer you to give you the right prompt to put back in there. So you have these prompt coaches to put in. And if you have no clue how to start it, please utilize the suggestions here. Prompt generation, analyze this prompt. Maybe this is a prompt you're trying to make sure it's clear and functional. Put that in here and say analyze prompts. You get some information back, maybe change it up, and then put it into the Copilot chat to get the answer back. So definitely try the agents. Right. Let's see here. Great question. Thank you. Can the free version conduct research and provide reference and source and research conducted? Yes, it definitely can. You can do research. If I want to do research about Mesopotamia, give me the history and timeline of Mesopotamia. It will go through and do the research. If you're doing research in that fashion, I'd recommend click on chat, research, recommend GPT-5. It will do a lot more deeper insights in there, and it'll give you the stats on it, tell you where it got the information from. You can tell it to put it into a chart formula, put it into a timeline. It will do all that. It won't do deep reference and search over your corporate data for the free one because it's not grounded in that, but it can do web deep search and research in that direction. Can Copilot create add-ins for non-Microsoft or third-party software? So you do have the capability of attaching on the back end, you would have to actually attach it in there. So there is some functionality. It's limited on the free edition of what you can go into. I believe you can go into Google, things along those lines, attach it to your Google Drive. So it has some functionality, but it'd be on the back end on the administration section. So the paid edition does allow for a lot more pipelines to be connected than the free one. So it's really small information on those. Another question. If I'm paying $30 for my subscription now and have a Business 360 subscription, will it automatically default to the $21 when it comes available in December 1st? The answer to that is no, it will not automatically go that direction. That's something to be changed in the background. This was just announced 2 days ago. I figured it'd be hitting the announcements going out to everybody outside of Ntiva because it's going to be a pretty big announcement for everybody. It's something that we need to get some more details on from Microsoft to understand how that will truly work. And once we have that, we'll make sure that all account managers know what that means. Because I'm sure if you are a small business and you're paying 30, you of course want to pay 21. More than likely, what I was reading on the back end of this is you still have to complete your term with Microsoft for the one you purchased. So if you purchased it in August, it's going to renew in August of 2026. At that point, you can then change that to the lower edition version. So more likely it's going to fall in that realm. They're also putting together bundles as well. So it's going to be something interesting. We're going to get some more insights as well. Business Premium with Copilot, Business Standard with Copilot, a bundle, which will have some extra additional saves in there. So I'm really excited to see what's coming out, what that pricing might be. Again, dropping the price, but keeping the value to you will be very important. Again, everything I'm showing you on the free edition is still free, but there is some cost savings to come here in the next year. Is the information I upload to Copilot considered safe and confidential? When you upload in here and put it out there, yes, it stays. The information you put in here is not leaving the system. It's not informing the large language model and training it. It does not leave the system. If you're curious about safeguards, enterprise data right here will give you a lot more information. You can search and read through it so you understand what's going on. As a 365 admin, can I add Copilot license directly? I'm assuming you're asking about the fact if you have a Microsoft Copilot 365 license available to you to add, yes, you can do it. So you need to purchase one first to add it to a person. If you're asking if this is the free version license, there's no license you need to add. If you have a person with a business premium or business standard or business basic, this Copilot free version is already included in that license. It's not an extra license to add on there. So I hope I answered your question. If not, throw it back into the QA. I have a business premium license, but I do not see work or web options. Does that mean it needs to be enabled for Office 365 portal? So if you have a business premium license, it does not give you the work version. It would basically have nothing up here. So if you go to Copilot Chat and you have nothing in here, you have the free version. So you're in the right section. It's just you don't have the paid version, which would have the work and web. And again, this is the Copilot 365 $30 a month license that gives you this work and web one that you can go back and forth and gives you some extra agents you don't see. You can see here I have the research agent, the analyst agent. So it gives me more functionality within that paid edition. The free edition does not have that up there. Can you please explain what the HR assistance is used for? Great question. Great to see it. This is actually a chatbot I created for testing purposes. So this is something I built within my test tenant to see how it works. I put up a PDF in the background. Let's see here. I can ask what is our vacation policy? So what's going on here? This is a agent that's going off SharePoint. So what this is interesting, this is utilizing a different service called Copilot Studios. So in a Copilot Studios, you have capability of making some information on the back end of utilizing an agent to go off of SharePoint data. And once this pops up, it should come up and say what our vacation policy is because it was able to find that information. So that's something I had to create and configure. So it's not something baked into this. And you can see again, this is fake information, but here is our paid time off policy for tomorrow's firm today. So that if a person was, you can put this in, I can share this out to my entire company. They can utilize this HR Copilot chatbot to find information out. And so they can answer that without having to send an email to HR. So it's definitely very handy. Great question, great catch on seeing that. I do have a Copilot studio webinar I did earlier in the summer. Please check that out if you're interested in seeing more. Let's see here. I think that might be all the questions. I'll do another look at questions. I'm happy to hang on here for a little bit more time if anyone has any other questions. All right, going once. Oh, I think something else just popped in here. Can we get the Copilot Studio? So Copilot Studio is a paid license. So for Copilot Studio is available for free for people that have a 365 Copilot license. So your $30 a month gives the capability of going to Copilot Studio. Now this is definitely slightly off topic from our Copilot chat one, Copilot Studio. So with Copilot Studio, I'm able to create agents that for my organization. Looks like my trial expired. Oh, this one doesn't have it. So I had the capability of creating agents for my company that might go into corporate data. The key piece on this is my license does not have the ability to go through grounded information, but I can put on there a Copilot Studio license which is $200 a month. That then has the ability to use tokens. So anytime you're doing large language model calls, you're utilizing tokens on the back end. How much information you're sending out to the large language model, how much you have coming back, there's token cost in there. With a Copilot Studio license, it gives you 25,000 tokens to use across the organization. So you can create an agent and share it across your organization and then have them utilize the $200 of $25,000 tokens every month to use that across that specific corporate data. If it is a Microsoft 365 Copilot license for $330 a month, that does not count towards your overall token usage. Only the people that have the free edition come off that. So it's a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle. But as far as this free license, it does not come included with Copilot Studio. However, you can come into Copilot here and create Copilot agents. So I just did a webinar on this, I want to say actually last month, that talks about how to create Copilot agents. So you can click Create Agent here. And what I recommend is trying this out, but using templates. So you can click on View Templates. It gives you some ideas of what these look like. So I can go ahead and let's go ahead and use the prompt template and configure. When you click configure, you can see these instructions of what it means to configure an agent. So I can go ahead and click save here if I wanted to, or if I wanted to, I can use Copilot to help build a prompt as well. So I can use this right here, come back into chat and say, I want to build a Copilot agent for doing vendor evaluations. So I want to do vendor evaluations. I want to find out who the corporate owners and how long they've been in business. Have they have financial risks? And again, it's only going to go out to the web that's available, the web information of what's available. But then I can have it come back in a certain format to me based on how I tell it to do certain things. So you can play with this information here to tell it what to come back with, and it's very helpful. Actually, I might have one right here. My Tomorrow's product bot. Do a product compare this one for anti-spam solutions. So based on what I put into on the prompt, then I'll go back out and find it. Oh, it says my bot's no longer available. It ran out. But you have the capability of creating agents right in here and sharing them out to organizations, share to colleagues, friends, whatever, not friends, colleagues within your corporate information. So you can create ones that are just for you, just for your team, or corporate wide from your free Copilot agent. Now, these aren't the advanced ones. There are advanced agents out there for the paid edition. Again, recommend watching my August webinar, which I get into utilizing Researcher. Researcher has become my most favorite agent available that is within Copilot 365 paid edition. This does deep, deep research across your organization data, across the web data. It sometimes takes about like 10, 15 minutes to come back, but the information is rich and accurate, and I love doing this. So anything I'm kind of starting to get into first, I throw it straight into Researcher, and it brings back some really great information back. I use it all the time. Highly recommend trying it out if you had the paid edition. Again, this is not available in the free edition, but this is where I think they're going to start making differences between the paid version and the free version. So they're kind of shifting things from the paid edition to the free edition. They're going to put the high level usage agents in the paid edition that has much more value to make you want to pay the extra money to go there. But again, if you're not going to take advantage of it, that free edition is great, or you can go ahead and start going with the cheaper edition, the $21 pricing that's coming out with 365 for companies less than 300. So great question there. Let's see here. When will we get? When do you think employees need the paid edition of Copilot? That's a fantastic question. I recommend making sure your employees know about Copilot first. No matter what, all employees should know about the Copilot chat, just for the basic reason I was talking about at the beginning of this, for security. Because I guarantee you, if you're not asking them what they're utilizing for AI chatbots, they're going off on their own, throwing information in Gemini, throwing it off into Claude, throwing it off into ChatGPT. It is happening out there. Have the conversation with your employees, make it a standard. I want everyone to start utilizing Copilot. It's very simple. Here's how it goes. Here's how you utilize it. Here's where it is, and start standardizing in that direction. One of the pieces where I find where it's really helpful for the paid edition is if they're doing some research across their corporate information or accessing shared information, want to find more information about. I utilize that a lot, especially as we're growing to being a big company. There's information spread across our entire corporate where I want to make sure to do searches across policies, how-tos, standard operating procedures, find inconsistencies and put it all together and do assessments. Very helpful in there. One of the helpful things I find is putting a Copilot paid edition, at least one or two in each different pocket of your organization. Let's go ahead and put one or two in accounting. Let's put one or two in the ops, maybe even in the corporate C-suite, whatever different pockets and departments you have. Let them try that. Create AI champions that go in there and try certain things out. Create roundtables together so you have conversation across those entire groups of testers that talk about their use cases, what has worked for them, what has not worked for them. Because what you find is people start doing different things within the organizations, and someone goes, "Oh, I didn't even think about trying a chat in that fashion. Oh, I didn't know you had this agent that can do this. What if I can do this in finance that you're doing this in manufacturing?" Having those conversations allows those open conversations to happen and allow a lot more information to traverse different departments so people can see how other departments are utilizing it. And then to recommend, if you have the Copilot license, the big thing is keeping it on within Teams meeting. Let that be on in Teams meeting with facilitator and tell it behind the scenes, create your frequently asked questions about this, about the use of Copilot 365 licensing, and it'll start creating that in the background for you. So you can utilize that as well as a document taker, a note taker, and that way you have a document created while you're discussing it. Very helpful. Is there a way to, aside from Copilot Studios, to do what you just did for our employee handbook? Really, that's the best place to do it. I do think Copilot agents are going to be a thing here. If you have not utilized them, I'd recommend trying it out. So if you have the full version of Microsoft 365, you have the capability of building an agent within Copilot Studios. If you purchase one license of what's a $200 a month license, it will be able to give everybody the ability to utilize that agent that has the HR policy within there. So then you can actually keep that completely intact, have all your information there. They can start asking questions against that chatbot without having the 365 $30 version of it. So the $200 license will allow everybody to access that one chatbot. If we're in GCC high tenant, we need to work with a licensing provider and Ntiva to begin utilizing Copilot in our organization. 365 high tenant is completely separate than the corporate tenant, which I'm sure you're aware. That is something that might not have all the same features I'm talking about because they do their roadmaps for corporate first, and then it kind of slowly trickles down to the GCC high. The GCC high, I believe, does have the Microsoft Full Edition in there, but it won't have all the same features and functionality. Some of the agent stuff's not quite there. But yes, that is something you need to purchase through a licensing provider. We definitely can help out procure GCC high licensing tenants. So definitely reach out to your account manager for that. Happy to help. Last question. Did you create the HR assistant? Yes, that was something I personally created within my org as testing out the Copilot Studio for another webinar. So that is something I had to purchase and set up. It's not something that came included with the Microsoft 365. Now I could create if for some reason, I wouldn't recommend this, if for some reason I had a website that had information there about, maybe it's not corporate information that I want internal, maybe it's a knowledge base, right? Maybe I have a external facing knowledge base. I can create an agent off that external facing knowledge base to ask questions about. There's no extra charges for that. So you can actually put this information out there to websites that are external to you, and it will put it into a chatbot. Fantastic questions, everyone. Definitely keep it coming. I'm happy to stay here as long as people are asking questions. Let's see. Don't see anything extra coming in. Well, I'm definitely hanging here for a couple more minutes just to see if any other questions happen. If you're heading on out, because I know it's getting to be about an hour, I really appreciate everyone joining this webinar. There are monthly webinars that happen. They're not always live. Please register for them on our website. I do at least one webinar of Copilot every quarter. We're doing probably a more advanced series with that. We're doing some, I have another vendor we're doing back and forth talking about different functionalities within Copilot, mostly within the paid one. So keep coming back to our website. We'll definitely have a lot more information. There's going to be more information coming out from the Ignite conference that's going on. So we'll probably have a lot more rich demonstrations we could put through once we get our hands on and understand how to utilize it as a business. All right. Well, I think that's coming to a conclusion here. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I don't see any other questions coming through. I really appreciate all the people that stayed here to the end. It's been wonderful talking to you all. I hope you all have a great weekend and a happy and safe Thanksgiving. And if you have any question about Copilot or anything AI, please reach out to Ntiva. We're happy to assist. Thank you very much.